Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of the J RENDINA Podcast. This is episode 2. Today, we're going to be talking about your belief system and how it oozes out of you and how that affects your business. I want to start with saying it's funny when you hear that, you're like, oh, what is this going to be about? My mindset. But here's the lesson. If your mindset is not on point, your business is not going to be successful. So I'll just start with that. So your belief system and who you are is key to the success of your business. That's number one. That's going to be a big point that we're harping on as well. Before we dive into that, I'm going to tell you a couple little stories about belief systems and a couple things that I've noticed growing up that are going to be relevant to how your belief system sets you up for success. So I have two stories. One is a story. I was in California and I was at a restaurant. I was actually at an event working with a coach because I think working with a coach is crucial to any business success, but that's for another day. So I was at a restaurant and I was ordering food and I saw this one guy walk in who actually worked there, and I was like, damn, this guy looks like he is a boxer. For some reason in my mind, I was like, this dude is a boxer, 100%. And I see him, he's a busboy and waiter or whatever. He's just walking around and I just can't keep thinking like, damn, this dude's a boxer. So he comes up to my table to give me my check and I asked him like, do you box? He's like, yeah, I just went there last night. I'm like, damn, dude, I could just see it in the way you present yourself and your energy. So your energy and the way you think you are actually oozes out to you, and people feel that. And that's all belief system. So this dude in his mind believed that he was a boxer. He went last night, he was boxing, he did a good job, and this is coming out of him, regardless if he's doing it for a day, a week, or a month, but he believes that that's who he is. And it's funny that I just pick up on that and see that, hey, this guy must be a boxer. So that's one story to say. If you think that someone is something, why don't you ask him and see what it is? Maybe your intuition's right, but maybe they're just giving you that energy because it does ooze out of you. Second one is a story when I was growing up. I grew up in the city in Brooklyn, in Carroll Gardens, which is actually a really nice area. Now, when I grew up, it was all Italians and everyone hung out in the stoops. We drank alcohol, we hung out, we would yell at each other. My mom yelled at everyone on the street. Mom, if you're watching, didn't mean that. But it's true, like that was my neighborhood. But there was a time where when I was in high school, I remember I was hanging out with one of my buddies. We were walking the street and there was this group of dudes across the street, and something told me that like, hey, this group is no good. Like, just stay away from them. Whether you call it street smart or what, something was telling me to get away. So we walk away pretty fast, we get away. And I was in a nice area in Brooklyn. It's not like the projects or anything where you had to worry about. But the next day we heard that a couple kids were like robbed at gunpoint. And I know for a fact it was that group of guys. Now, whether you want to call that street smarts or whether you want to call it that someone is putting out that energy and you can see it because that's what they're thinking in their head. Whatever you believe, it's true. Your energy oozes out of you and your belief system oozes out of you. Now we'll dive into more specifics of that. So the first point I want to talk about is you create your belief systems. What do I mean by that? You ever sit down and just wonder, like, you question why you believe something? Did you hear it from somebody? Did you hear it from the TV? Did you hear it from a programming? Did you hear it from your parents? If you're not sitting down and questioning, why do I believe X, Y, and Z, then you're being programmed by someone else. You have to be able to create your own mind and create your own beliefs. Now, for me as a business owner, my belief system is that I'm going to be successful. I'm going to scale. I'm going to get the money I want to get. I'm going to help the people I want to help. And I truly sit down and I will continually tell myself those beliefs until I believe it. And I'm not saying that every day I feel like I'm the shit, but by continually giving myself those beliefs, I'm giving that energy out to the world, and then I'm training my brain. Because now if we go into the science aspect, right, I am a physical therapist by trade. There's a science-backed programming. Your brain is a neural network. Your neurons are muscles. If you're not training your brain neurologically, then those muscles aren't going to strengthen. It's the same way you go to the gym and strengthen your biceps. You actually have to strengthen your neurons. So why not give yourself a belief system that's going to empower you, right? And that's the reality of it. You choose that. First step there, Actively take a list or create a list. What beliefs am I believing about myself as a business owner or as a person, really? Like, this goes hand in hand. I always say that, this is a side note, but if you are trying to open a business, a service-based business, entrepreneurship and personal growth, they go hand in hand. If you're not growing as a person, you're not going to grow as a business. That's just the way it is, because your belief system have to continually expand for you to expand and for your business to grow. So that's a side note there. So first step, to back it up, you create your belief systems. You have to choose what you want to believe. Analyze. The second step that's going to segue into that is always self-analyze, right? What are you doing on a daily basis to track your day? If you're in a small service-based business, you should be tracking everything. I know I track everything, and my staff hates me for it, and that's okay. Sorry guys, if you're watching this, it's a part of business. It's a part of life. If you're putting that much effort into your business, why aren't you putting that effort into your life? Are you looking at your day every day and saying, like, where did I produce? Where did I get better? What kind of value did I bring? What thoughts came up that I need to prune, right? And it's interesting, because if you have any inkling of self-development, if you're on that path, you'll actually start to get frustrated when you're thinking a certain way, when you know you could be thinking another way. That happens to me all the time. It happened to me yesterday. I felt like shit, came back from vacation. I'm like, damn, why do I feel this way? And then I was able to break through that because I analyzed. I was like, all right, I feel this way, X, Y, and Z. Do I believe that? Like, why am I telling myself that? And the only reason I was able to do that was because I was journaling. I wrote it down and I analyzed my steps. Analyze your life. Like, so many people are watching Netflix shows and shit like that, you know, so much about all that, but it's like the character development or Netflix show, you know more about that than your character development as a person. Look at your life as like a character. You want to build that. So analyze. Step number 2, analyze your life, analyze your character. Step 3, choose to act the way your future self acts. What do I mean by that? There's a situation that comes up and you get afraid, or your brain, you go into a amygdala hijack. If you don't know what that is, it's just a fight or flight. You get afraid, your cortisol levels rise, and your brain goes into a fear loop. What you have to do in those moments is say, how will the future version of myself react in this situation? You're proposing a question to your brain. Your brain is a question answering machine. Once you propose that question and you have the vision of yourself in your future and you answer it to yourself, acting according to that, regardless of how you feel. Because human emotions, we feel a certain way. It doesn't mean that's who you are. So always ask yourself that question. How will my future version of myself really act in this situation? And that could be your guiding post, right? And I could even say, you know, those are 3 top things, and we'll summarize it. But even a bigger picture, you know, me just stating this is really like, who do you want to be? What's the vision of yourself? And having a vision for your life, and that's everything. Your finances, how do you want to act? Who do you want to be? What's your value system? Having a vision for your life can really help set the stage for all this aspect. Now, I say all this stuff, again, this is for small base businesses, but it's also for your life as well. Carry it over. They go hand in hand. Develop as a person first, and then everything else will follow. You'll be able to handle all the hiccups, all the bullshit that comes up, all the aspects that are there that are gonna be there, because as you challenge yourself, there's gonna be things that come to fruition that you need to face. That's just a part of being a business owner. So to summarize those 3 points, right? You create your belief system. Create empowering thoughts. And if you have shitty thoughts, prune them out of your mind. Your mind literally is a machine. You can train it. Second one, analyze. Journal. Analyze your behavior. Analyze your day. The third one, ask yourself the question, how would my future self respond in this situation? And make it a default so you can evolve from that. So if you like this video, guys, give us a thumbs up, share it. Thank you for watching.